Welcome to Module 2 of 3. I hope you've been able to take your time to think about the value list. Like I said, it takes time and it is a journey. So let's recap for a moment. I talked about the journey I've been on, and I realized that there were clearly two different types of values. The internal ones, the ones that are intrinsically and authentically personal to us. And they're the external ones, the ones that are put on us by various other sources right from birth. We also identified that to live ethically, we needed to live by our own values. And in situations where we're involved in business and community, we need to live and work by their values, and that it's really important to make sure that you can live with their values, that they align with values you have or they're ones you can live with. The values are foundational building blocks to our lives and our businesses. This is really important. So to move on, we need to have our lists in front of us. So go grab them if you haven't got them. So this is the time when we really start to drill down on your not negotiable values list. It really does take time, so do give yourself the time. Time is a great incubator. So I've given you some more questions. Pop the values in there and start to drill down on your emotions as well, because the values are totally tied in with your emotions. You know, when somebody is punctually not on time, for me, that starts to get me irritated inside, and emotionally I start to get irritated. That's a real sign for me that this is a value for me. And it's like a moment in time, and I realize actually it's not that important to those people, so I need to just chill out and relax and give them 10 minutes. So these are things that you need to start talking to yourself about. And if you're an internal thinker, do it internally. If you're an external thinker, grab a dog and start talking to it, because I have found that getting it verbally out there really has helped me process, and I'm an extrovert, so I do process externally. So keep going, keep drilling, keep refining, keep asking questions. Now, one thing I will start to talk about is what value trumps another. The girlfriend and I started to talk about this and use it this way, and it's been really, really helpful. So, for instance, does truth trump kindness? Would you tell a little white lie to save somebody, or would you tell the truth at all costs? Or are both values really important to you and you'd absolutely find a way to do both? Have a think about this, weigh up other values one against another on your list, and start to ask questions or put situations around them. Chat with your friends about this, because honestly they will figure out this stuff about you possibly faster than you will yourself. We are now at the point of narrowing down your 7 or 8 top not negotiable values. Look at your not negotiable values list and ask if they are there because of external expectations and law, or because you'd feel lost without them. Be honest about this. Remember, we're trying to identify what makes you tick. I talked about some values trumping others. Here is an honest example out of my own life. I'm going to be very honest here, and it will be interesting for you to see how you react to this. You may discover a not negotiable value by judging me. My value of reliability totally trumps obedience to the law when it relates to the speed limit. I will drive over the speed limit to be on time and reliable. I will use my phone if my Bluetooth is not working to let someone know I will be there soon. Obedience to the law is sadly negotiable, to the point of deciding that if I get a fine, then I'll just pay it. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. It's time to take the blinkers off and look at the cold, hard facts honestly. Talk with others if you can't see things clearly. Because here's the thing, I found the people closest to me honestly see me very clearly. They've got me sussed in a way that they would never just openly tell me. But I have found that being honest with them has been an amazing eye-opener. Once I had my values listed in front of me, I started to look at them and realized that one of my values jumped out at me as one that underpinned all the others. I began to call it my driver value. Now, that value for me was creativity, where idea meets function. So I began to see that the driver value was one that would get you out of bed in the morning on the darkest days. It was the gas in the tank that kept you going through lunchtime and into the evening. So here are some of the hallmarks of that value that I've begun to realize, and I'm sure that there are more. I saw it as the value that basically drove my conversations. It was the default in my conversation and often influenced and drove the conversation. It also was there present in my thought process, particularly when I was relaxing. I realized actually, in hindsight, it's been the thing that people have seen as a weakness, and I was unaware of it at the time. I also saw it reflected in how I used my skills and, as Lance Wallnau would say, my signature strengths, or the intrinsic strengths that I have. I found it was my happy place. And that, for me, was a massive aha moment when I realized that. And a lot of the threads over the last few years had came together, and I realized, oh my, this is where I get my strength and my passion from. And actually the focus on where I'm headed. Indulge me for a moment if I ramble, because this may help you identify your driver value more clearly. My driver value is creativity, as I've said, and it's in the area where idea meets function and finding creative solutions. It is present in me in every conversation, every thought by default, and I couldn't get rid of it if I tried. My friends will tell you that in any conversation with me, particularly if they won't bring up something that's not working for them, I'll look for a solution. And I'll look for a solution even if they're not asking for it. This is where my strength can become a weakness, because it looks like I'm railroading them into going with my solution, where in fact they just want to shoot the breeze and get rid of it and just have a bit of a rant. So I began to realize that earlier in my journey, not realizing the power of this creative strength within me, I had begun to believe that my life was just one big idea fest, and that actually it was all a waste of time, and it sent me on a journey that probably I didn't need to travel. So the aha moment for me was when I realized that my creativity in finding solutions had real focus when I started working with people on their ideas. And this for me was a true aha moment. So it didn't matter whether I was working with people within their businesses looking for ideas, or on a design solution because I'm a 3D designer. It really didn't matter. The bottom line was, I'm in my happy place when I'm finding solutions, creative solutions. Have you had any aha moments? If not, do not worry. Just keep refining and pondering. Use a dictionary, look for verbs. You may find by digging deeper into the dictionary that actually the clarity will come there, but it does take time. It may be something like my word creativity, which is, my driver value, creativity. It wasn't until I really started pulling what creativity looked like for me apart that I began to realize that it was actually in the area of idea meets function, and that was all about creative solutions. So keep working on it, keep digging down, keep drilling, and don't give up. This is your journey. I've given you some pointers along the way, but just give yourself time and be kind to yourself. Okay, take time now between this module and the next one. Really work through it, incubate those ideas, and don't hurry. You will get the best out of it if you incubate and let the ideas just flow around within you. Write screeds, talk a lot, and just get it out there. And when you're ready, I'll see you in the next module.